customer experience story. What I can say is the focus is fully on customer. The ways of work have shifted to everything starts with the customer, to the way we design, to the way we architect our business, to the way we train our people. And you'll start to see that now in our product sets, in the way we speak to customers, in the way we design things, even the look and feel of the business. And it's been a long journey, but transforming a business from product-led to customer-led, it's not easy. And I think we're getting there.
And how are you dealing with the issue of data and privacy? Because I think with the new laws coming in, there's a lot of issues around that. From your perspective, how are you guys dealing with that? And what's the best way of handling people's data?
The first is you need to make sure that the systems that you employ and the third parties that you use all conform to GDPR and POPIA. The other is you need to make sure that your information officers are trained and they're on the ball. And then your remediation from a customer perspective needs to be solid. So if a customer calls you and says, forget my data, you need to be able to be on that. We've got teams to do that. Our technologies can find that. Our analytics is quite tight on it. And I find that in organizations that are not as tight on analytics, stuff can slip through the cracks. Nobody's perfect. But we make sure that we cover all angles. We don't share customer data. If information is shared, we anonymize data, we use crypto, a blockchain cryptography to make sure that happens if we're sharing data. So every one of our vendors signs a data protection agreement with us. We make sure we do due diligence with them. So I'm happy with the way we're going.
Thank you. Just moving ahead, looking at the lowest of the customer experience professionals, comparing with the peers globally, what do you see is lacking or that needs to improve for people to be at par with the rest of the world?
To be honest with you, I think we're better. I don't know if you're aware of this, but MultiChoice alone has one of the highest trained customer experience professional teams globally. What I do think is because globally, we've had a .com boom and we've had a digital boom, younger companies are more agile, so they seem like they're more customer friendly. With big companies like MultiChoice and some of the bigger companies elsewhere in South Africa, it's harder to shift. But from a skill perspective, I think we're on top.
How much of an impact have the emerging tech has had on MultiChoice and your business in general?
Look, I don't think we can ignore emerging tech, right? But I still do, and my keynote address was about the technology is not the answer, it's the way you treat your customers. And there are businesses that I personally use that are not digitalized because of the experience I get. So I think, from a streaming perspective, yes, it impacted us quite significantly with Netflix and Amazon and all of these guys. But ultimately, the way we deliver experiences is going to trump the technology.
Lastly, from MultiChoice, what are your near-term plans going forward in terms of satisfying your customer needs?
I think you'll see quite a few new products being announced by the company. We had a media showcase last week where we spoke about our partnerships with people like Sky, and we're looking at how we expand from a customer ecosystem. We've just launched a TV box, very similar to Apple TV and Android box. We've just announced that we're going to have fiber available to our customers. We've also had a DSTV internet product, which not many people are aware of, at a very good rate. So from a product perspective, we're now, we're tagging on products that are lifestyle solutions rather than just TV. And we're going to strengthen our TV offering, which you'll see coming soon.
I think for me, it's important to have responsible event companies come together and do things responsibly from a CX perspective, because you have a huge influence in the market, you have a huge influence in the industry and where the industry chooses to go. So the people that you've partnered with, the groups of people that you've brought together here are at the right level and are at the right, have the right access to information, budget, and the ability to actually go back and implement. The speakers that you've got and the information that you're sharing, I think is very relevant and topical at this moment in time, because it helps industry come together and actually make proper informed decisions to make ultimate best practice decisions and changes for the customer.
Earlier on in your presentation, you spoke about how digital transformation is compelling companies to set their models, adopt to new customer needs. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
So to talk about customer models, digital transformation, I think what happens is that we get caught up with the hype and the new technology that comes out. We all want to do it and we all want to go ahead and try this thing out. The importance of digital transformation, or the success of digital transformation, is to have a successful customer experience management framework within your organization that's working already. So you've got to know your customer, you've got to understand who he is, you've got to be able to understand what's meaningful for him from a change perspective, and not go ahead and just do what's relevant in the market right now, what's the craze in the market right now. I also said in the session that you've got to fit into my life as the customer. And that's the difficulty that every business has at this moment in time, is that they need to customize and personalize for each and every one of us, and no two customers are the same. And that is why digitization on top of customer experience is going to be the answer, because we want to be able to get to that customer, make it least effort for him, make it painless for him, but also meaningful.
Let's just move on to the issue of the data laws, privacy laws that are coming in.
Yeah.
How do you see this impacting on the customer experience profession?
I think it's always
What
going.
can be done?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be there. I think it's we always need to protect ourselves as consumers as well. We don't want our information to get out there, to be misused or to be abused. There's also security and theft and fraud that we need to think about. From an adaptability perspective, I think consumers are far much more braver, and they are more willing to go with early adoption when it comes to technology and when it comes to releasing their data onto platforms. However, at the back of their minds, they do know that they are engaging with a brand that is responsible with their information. So I think brands need to first make sure that they understand, they address that concern that's sitting in the background from a consumer perspective. We take care of your data responsibly. But at the same time, internally, a lot of the legalese and the legal departments will say, these are the policies and we can't move around them. I think what needs to happen is that the legal guys need to come together with the business guys and discuss what and how they're going to deliver and align to the policy, but ensure that it's best for the customer and the customer experience. So it's more conversation, it's breaking down the silos, it's bringing people together to say, we understand this is the policy, this is what our customer needs, this is what our customer wants. How do we get there by still abiding by the policy?
Lastly, what are the near-term trends that we should expect for customer experience in the profession?
Wow. Look, I think retail's going to have to sort of up their game from where they are right now, because it's a global village. I shop wherever I want to. I pick up items from America, I pick items up from the UK, wherever I want to. And they've taught me how to be treated from an online perspective. When I come in and I want to buy something online from a retail store, a local retail store, I want the same experience. So retailers are going to, and I'm sure they are already looking at it, they're going to have to shift gear significantly in order to still retain the South African consumer. So that's definitely a space that we'll start seeing shifts. I think hospitality is also another place that was they went through quite a challenge over the COVID periods. And now that people are being introduced back into, I can go and fly and I can go and stay over for a night and come back, or I can go on holiday and stay over. That level of standards that people were used to is not there anymore, because hospitality is still trying to find their feet. That's going to also lift, because I'm sure they're feeling they're hurting at this moment in time, because the demand in hospitality is far more higher than what it used to be. COVID changed everything. I stayed in my house. I loved my house. I loved staying in my own space. But now that I'm moving out to go and stay in someone else's hotel, I want it to be even better, even more comfortable. I want the people to love me more. And I'm also wanting, I'm very selective as to where I'm going to spend my money. So I've only got one chance to treat me right. So I think the hospitality space, digital without a doubt from an online perspective, we need to get to a point where I don't have 5 loyalty cards in my wallet anymore. I've got digital loyalty cards because I'm not going to earn your coins. I'm not going to do business with you if you've got a hard loyalty product. I think wearables, you've got to be able to get me between my multiple devices. So knowing the customer across the devices and knowing the customer from whether she's got an insurance policy with you or a bank loan with you is something that needs to come together. So I think the shifts we're going to see is in the banking environment. From an online perspective, digital is going to be across the board. Everybody's going to want to try and do it well. And then I think hospitality as well, the retail space.